Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching us live on Facebook, thank you for that. If you are watching us later, we do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there for you to check out. They are free. Getting into your traffic this morning, there is an accident on I-12 roughly around the Millerville area, causing delays back to Pete's Highway, so keep that in mind with some heavy delays on those on-ramps. You're causing delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190 because of that interstate delay. 64, some minor delays, however, gets heavy on Greenville Springs this morning. So looking at some rough traffic. Sorry, folks, I'm just the messenger. Of course, school is back in session this Wednesday as Sally not dodged us, but missed us. We'll talk more about Sally in a second. Good morning, Mr. Jonathan. Thanks for joining us. But school is back in session. I want to also remind folks, which we'll also talk a little bit more about in a second, 6th graders and 9th graders are returning to 5-day instruction, so expect some heavier traffic in and around those high schools, freshman highs, and junior highs as more people return to school. It's currently 74 degrees, 90 degrees is your high today, 72 your overnight low. 20% chance of rain this afternoon. Of course, Sally missed us. Sally has made landfall at between Mobile and Pensacola over there on the Alabama and Florida Gulf Coast. It actually went farther east than originally anticipated. The front that hit it actually hit it pretty hard. And we here in Livingston Parish in southeast Louisiana should consider ourselves lucky. Had Sally moved any faster than 3 to 5 miles an hour, it may have gotten here. Now, again, a lot of this rainfall is due to that rapid intensification because it was moving so slow in the Gulf over warm waters. It made a landfall as a Category 2 hurricane with some wind speeds up to 100 miles per hour. So, again, let's be glad that it did not make it to Livingston Parish in southeast Louisiana. It is expected to dump up to 35 inches of rain in some of those places along the Gulf Coast. But having said that, school is returning today after 2 precautionary days of being off because of Sally. Again, 6th and 9th graders begin returning to 5-day instruction today, so they will go to school today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then full 5-day instruction next week. It's the beginning of the phased sort of reopening of all grades to 5-day instruction that begins today. Tomorrow, 7th and 10th graders will return to full-time instruction. Friday, 8th and 11th graders, and then on Monday, seniors will return to school. It's time to give administrators and teachers as well a chance to acclimate to getting all those kids back on campus. Of course, normally having 50% every other day. Now we're going to full instruction. So trying to phase it in as quickly as possible, obviously happening over a 3-day period with seniors rounding it out on the 4th. But it has begun. So starting next week, most kids will be, or all kids who have chosen to have at-school instruction will be back to 5 days a week. I know that teachers will be appreciative of that. It will help to just have either a kid at school or a kid at home, no alternations. Looking at COVID-19, 158,318 total cases statewide, 5,108 deaths, 2,091,023 tests, 140,440 have recovered, 667 are hospitalized on 99 ventilators. In Livingston Parish, 3,642 cases, 71 deaths on 37,010 tests. Unfortunately, some news yesterday. Fall Fest for October 3rd has been canceled this year. Fortunately, marks the second cancellation of one of the Dim Springs festivals. Of course, the first being right at the beginning of April was also canceled because of COVID-19. This was canceled because COVID-19 as well. It was due to not being able to control the numbers, even though outdoor gatherings have a higher capacity than they did in Phase 2, now in Phase 3. There was just no way to control the flow, make sure that social distancing was followed, and masks were used appropriately. So in light of that, organizers Alan Kim Bai have said that it's a very disappointing outcome, but after reading CDC guidelines and speaking with local officials, they felt like they didn't really have a choice. So Fall Fest will be canceled, originally scheduled for October 3rd. They're looking to having a Spring Fest next year after after a rough year for festivals here in Denham Springs. Senator John Kennedy, try that again. Senator John Kennedy has called on mobile giant CEOs, including CEOs from AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, those kinds of places, even Google with Google phones, to come to Congress and Senate and testify. There seems to be an ongoing problem where it's becoming easier and easier for prison inmates to get their hands on cell phones and then make harassing calls, especially to those who happen to have put them there. So Senator John Kennedy is calling on them to testify as to why this is and what they can do to stop it. It's an ongoing problem. It's very interesting here in Livingston Parish through the Leadership Livingston program out of the Chamber of Commerce. I've toured the detention center, and there's very interesting methods in which the inmates use to get phones in, including some rucksacks that are spun and thrown over and usually fall into the courtyard. They've had to put a net up there to try to catch a lot of that. Some inmates are very clever. They've made their own cell phone. So, and they have been able to use account numbers and things like that to connect to certain networks. So they're trying to find a way, at least Congress and the Senate are trying to find a way to curb that. And Senator John Kennedy is calling on those CEOs to come testify. We will see if they will. Getting back into let's talk about these mitigation efforts real quick, which is especially important with your children. If you do have children heading back to 5-day instruction, this is especially important. Wash your hands for 20 seconds or more with soap and water. Wear a mask in public. It is a mandate. 6 feet or more of distance between yourself and others. Control your cough and sneezing with an elbow or a tissue. Don't touch your face, my favorite one. By the way, if you're controlling your cough with an elbow, make sure it's your own. 50 or less to a gathering, preferably less, and stay home if you're sick. And utilize telehealth to get in touch with your doctor and stay home to work if at all possible. Want to remind folks with your traffic, there is an accident on I-12 roughly just past Millerville. It's causing delays from Millerville all the way back to Pete's Highway, might stack up to Jubin Road. You know how that gets. That's also causing some delays at Forage Club Road, River Road, and 190. You're also looking at delays on 64 heading into Central. Minor, though, however, heavier delays on Greenville Springs. So it is kind of a rough traffic morning today. School is back in session, and want to remind folks that school traffic will return today. Also, 6th graders going back to full time, as well as 9th graders. So expect some heavier delays in and around your high schools and your junior highs. It's currently 74 degrees, 90 degrees. Your high today, 72 degrees. Whoa, not 42. 90 degrees your high today, 72 your overnight low. 20% chance of rain this afternoon, so never a bad idea to pick up that umbrella on the way out the door. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Want to remind folks that we are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. That's $7 a month to get it in your mailbox. We are also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have a podcast page, which is free, which has audio and video versions of our long-form podcasts, as well as these shows. We also have a coronavirus page, which is free, which is where we're trying to keep you up to date with some of the things that are still happening with COVID-19. As we saw with Fall Fest yesterday, COVID-19 is still here. It is still affecting us. Finally, we have a breaking news page, which is free, which is state news, national news, as well as arrests and accidents. That's free as well. We do hope you have a great day. We appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday. Hopefully things like tropical storms, hurricanes, and COVID will stop canceling stuff, and we'll have a little more news for you. We do expect the school board to meet tomorrow. We're not entirely sure if the teachers are still going to be in the mood we're going to see. They're probably still going to show up, but we're going to see exactly how things change for those teachers as we move back to 5-day instruction. It may be better off for them not only having to worry about a small percentage that are at home doing virtual learning, with most kids coming 5 days a week. We, again, hope you have a great day. Please try to stay dry. If it does rain this afternoon, please try to be patient with the traffic this morning. It is a rough day, and we will see you tomorrow morning.